freaking what's today? Wednesday. We're live on a damn Wednesday. Let's go NFL first, and then we'll work ourselves around. Um, the freaking So the biggest thing I think that happened today was Joe Barrow kind of had a really weird press conference. I think it was like his birthday or something, and he kind of talked about a little bit like, about retirement, a little bit, hinting it, like saying how like he has to keep having fun. Otherwise, what's the point of doing all this? And then he said a lot of stuff is going on with his life. A lot of people are worried that this might be another Andrew Luck situation where, he gets starts getting frustrated of having getting hurt and then having to rehab, and it's mentally draining. And then obviously they're not winning, so that's another thing too. They had that huge shootout. It was like 39-35 this past Sunday versus the Bills, and they lost. And I don't know, man. I don't know. He might be having some mental issues. I think he's just maybe stressed a little bit between losing a lot and getting hurt. But hopefully, man, this guy's so talented, man. If I'm his agent and his family, I'm s- and look, you cannot control the injuries, but if it's too bad where that you might not want to play football anymore because of all the losing, you might want to get. I'm sorry, but you might want to ask for a trade. Like if it's that bad where you're thinking about retirement or like I don't know. He said he wasn't like happy and he said he needs to have more fun. I think you need to call your agent and you might have to ask for a trade, man. You're too talented not to like be having fun and enjoying this if you're Joe Barrow. Like the injuries you can't cannot control, but happiness, you can go somewhere else, man. So I mean, I'm not saying like get traded for like a good football team, but at least a better franchise, right? Like look at the Patriots. They were bad for like the first 5 years Tom Brady was gone, and now they finally figured it out this year with Drake, Mike Vrabel, and they turned it on really fast. So if you can go to a franchise that right now is not doing that good, but in the past has shown when they have good players that can actually win. I don't know, man. If I'm Joe Barrow, I'm really thinking about that, man. If you're really frustrated with the losing, but man, hope sending prayers and positive vibes to Joe Barrow, man. Next one, let me think. What else happened today in the world of sports? Um, Shit, man, I'm blinking out. This is why I have to write notes. Um, Let me think. Let me think. Let me think. Um, they asked the Michigan stuff. So yes, what's his name? Sean Moore, the coach of Michigan, got fired. Supposedly he got arrested, and then he apparently he got fired for having a relationship, like I guess like a sexual relationship with like a person in the school and the university, and that goes against violations. So he's been arrested, and now he got fired out of nowhere, and like and hours the guy went from being the coach to getting arrested and getting fired. So just like that, Michigan needs a new coach. Um, I always thought that Sharon Moore was kind of like the little, you know how the Patriots did it with, they fired Bill Belichick and then they hired Jared Mayo and then they fired him right away and then they hired Mike Vrabel, who's actually I feel he was the plan all along. I think sometimes in sports, when you have a Hall of Famer, you don't want to replace with the person you really think's the next thing. So you just hire somebody else and then you replace them with the person you think you actually want. Like this, that's what the Patriots did, right? They hired J.O. Mayo. So then Mike Vrabel, the person they really thought it was the guy, he wouldn't have the pressure of replacing Belichick. You're not replacing Belichick, you're replacing Jerome Mayo. So I always thought that the Michigan was going to do that too. When Jim Harbaugh left for Chargers, they just hired Sharon Moore to just sort of be the replacement, but he wasn't the long term answer. So I was a little bit surprised they didn't fire him when the season ended, but now they fired him. So now, but the problem is it's way too late now, right? Um, let's see what candidates are out there. Um, I mean, let's see. I'm trying to think. A guy that's probably going to come up is Mike Tomlin. He came up for the Penn State job. Might come up again, Mike Tomlin. Maybe Kalen Laborde. Is there? I think a lot of it has to do. Where is the money? The NIL money. Do they have more NIL money in Alabama or Michigan? You saw what happened to Kalen DeBoer in that final game with Georgia. So if there's more NIL money in Michigan, Kalen DeBoer might prefer to go to Michigan, man. Maybe do they give a call to the Notre Dame coach, Freeman, Marcus Freeman, who today I believe they're continuing to be very petty about the whole situation, not making the playoffs. I think today there was what do you call it? An author, a book author, a person that writes books. He wrote a book about the history of Notre Dame, and he was gonna have a book signing at the university, and they canceled it because apparently he's part of the committee that did not vote for Notre Dame to go to the playoffs. So they're very petty about the whole situation. Still, man, they canceled their bowl game. They don't want to have anything to do with the committee right now. I think they have like a partnership with the ACC, and they're thinking about not doing that partnership anymore because they're pretty petty about the whole situation. Could there be a possibility where Marcus Freeman says, "I need to get out of here. This is getting ridiculous, and I don't want to be part of this whole shit," and maybe could take the Michigan job? We'll see what happens, man. But that was another one that came out of nowhere, man. Sherrod Moore is no longer the head coach at Michigan. Another one is let me think here. They asked Nick Sirianni if he thinks they should bench Jalen Hurts. Obviously, he said no. He's sticking with Jalen Hurts. Stephen A. Smith, he thinks they're doing it for motivation. That not only the fans but also the media, because a lot of times the media, they're also fans. It's a way. It's just like a strategy to try to motivate Jalen Hurts, right? By saying, "Oh shit, if I continue to play bad, I might lose my job." So I don't know. Who knows? The most likely he's going to continue to be the starter for the rest of the season. But let me think what else happened in the world of sports today. Joe Barrow, Michigan coach. Let me see here. Let me think more and more. Let me think. I think that might be it for football. The final one I think I did see is that the collective bargaining agreement between the partnership between the referees and the NFL is expiring this year in May. And if they cannot sign a new collective bargaining agreement, the NFL might not have referees for the next season. They're gonna have to hire. Last time they had to hire like Division III referees, and they were terrible. I think this was back like in 2013 or something. But they have the contract does not expire until May, and then they would have until like September. So something to keep an eye on because last time the contract did expire, and they weren't able to re-sign the referees until like November. So like the first few months of the season, they had fucking like Division III college referees, and it was really bad. They were terrible. Hopefully that does not happen again, man. I think baseball. So Pete Edwin Diaz went to the Dodgers, and now Pete Alonso went to the Baltimore chocolate chips. What are they called? Chocolate Oreos. The Baltimore Oreos. So now the Mets, man, who have all this money with Stephen Cohen, have lost two of their starters in the last few days. Like Pendejo face for the Mets, man. Holy frijoles, man. Jesus Christ. Damn, man. So much for Steve Cohen being the richest owner in baseball, man. Holy frijoles. They've lost Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso on back-to-back days. Jesus Christ, man. Pete Alonso, I believe, at like $155 million, 5 years, goes to the Baltimore Orioles. Edwin Diaz for like 69 goes to the Dodgers. Jesus Christ, man. Come on, Stephen Cohen. Let me see here. Basketball, man. Look, shout out to the Spurs, right? They did their thing. They upset the Lakers without Wembanyama. Huge win for the Spurs. But I'm afraid it's gonna be a butt whooping come Saturday. Um, the Final Four has been set. It is going to be um Magic versus Knicks, and then on the West side it's gonna be um Thunder versus Spurs. I am really worried that it might be back-to-back blowouts. I'm worried that the Knicks might blow out the Magic and that the Thunder might blow out the Spurs. Hopefully, somehow Wembanyama can play Saturday, but otherwise it might be a fucking butt whooping, man. It really might be, man. Jesus Christ. I was hoping that the Lakers would win because I think they have a better chance to at least keep the game close versus the Thunder. I don't know what happened to the Lakers today. They play really bad, but damn, I don't think that the Spurs are going to be able to have a good game versus the Thunder, man. I really don't. So that's the Final Four for the instant tournament on Saturday. Magic Knicks and Thunder Spurs. How exciting! Um, the Final Four. And then the championship is like on Tuesday. But yeah, man, hopefully they're good. But the game, damn, I think the Thunder beat like the fucking Phoenix Suns without Devin Booker like by 55 points tonight. Jesus Christ, I felt like college Division 1 versus Division 3. The San Antonio, the Lakers had a few runs, but for the most part, I thought San Antonio dominated. I think they won like by 15 points. So we'll see what happens over the weekend when these games happen. Knicks, Magic, and Spurs, Thunder. Anyways, I think that is it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's stuff about Giannis. Could he get traded? I think I saw who said somebody said, was it Colin Coward? He said that he would just flat out. He said if he was if Houston, he would offer Fred Van Fleet and Alperen Şengün for Giannis. Ah, man, I wouldn't do that if I was Houston. Alperen Şengün is such a young guy. He's only 23, man. I would not, I think Houston's got to keep the way that it is right now with Şengün, Durant, and Amen Thompson, and even that one kid, Reed Shepard. If I'm Houston, you already got your start in the summer with Kevin Durant. I wouldn't do that, but I don't know why Colin Coward said that tonight. That he said if I was Houston and Milwaukee, I would do a trade Fred Van Fleet and Şengün to Milwaukee for Giannis. I'm like, no, I don't think that's a good trade. Holy free holies. Nah, I think Houston's got to keep their young players along with Kevin Durant. But I think that is it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I think I'm gonna call it a night. I think that's a good video for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. That was a nice little fun video. Kind of, got to make memorize stuff that happens throughout the whole day. But yeah, man, the biggest stories. Joe Barrow kind of being sad and maybe hinting retirement. Michigan firing their coach, and Pete Alonso going to the Baltimore Orioles. Is it? Yes, Oreos. I know it's some type of chocolate. Anyways, I think it's Oreos. Anyways, that is all. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Holla.